owner of Let's Play Soccer. We are going to learn how you can build a career in the soccer industry. And although he was an ex-pro soccer player, if you just love soccer and never made it to the pros, I'm really excited to see how he turned that into a pretty awesome business with, a lot of success. So Mike, thank you for being here. And tell me, what do you do for a living, my friend?
Hey, thanks for having me. Pretty excited for the conversation. What I do now, interesting. I'm one of the owners of Let's Play Soccer, and I'm on the board, and I do a lot of the sort of strategy we all do on the board, collaborate on that, but transactions and selling a property, buying a property, or negotiations for the company. But started out as a player, like you said, years ago, back in the 80s, when indoor soccer was a big thing on the pro level, and then it kind of grew into starting a facility in, of all places, Kalamazoo, Michigan, and a group of business partners in that mentored me. And I made every mistake you could possibly make, but got through it. And now we have 20 locations scattered across 10 states. And, it's going well.
How many employees do you have in the company now?
You get rough numbers, plus or minus 60 full-time and 250 maybe part-time. Yeah.
So let's call it about 100 people in the organization. That's pretty impressive success. So that's really good with 20 locations and a brand that's, I imagine, continuing.
We run it. Yeah, Christian, we run it lean. Our employees do work a lot. It's an interesting business as a manager. We're a soccer company, but as you can imagine, because you talk to a lot of people, it's running a small business, and deal with the public with thousands of people in each one of these buildings every week, and it's certainly in the peak period. That's a lot to manage. It's a lot of customers to manage. There's part-time staff and a lot of issues. A sports facility, there's a lot of things that can come up, as you can imagine. Sports is a little bit like, I heard someone say it was like life with the volume turned up, because there's a lot of emotion involved. And so, but we have a great group of people. That's why we've been successful, frankly.
Yeah. And because it's funny, even on a slightly personal note, literally my next door neighbor, who is a car salesman, he actually opened up a business just like he said. He wants to, rent out a soccer field, and he came up with his own brand, and then he has people that pay him $10 a time to play soccer, whatever it may be, and he started that business. And initially you look at it, it's like, oh, I'm sure you can make some good cash money in one field, all this stuff, but you took it to a whole other level. Like, you've got a corporation here, you guys are killing it. So it's not just people coming to play soccer on a field. There's a viable business with careers there. You got 60 full-time people. That's a fairly large payroll. You've got people in there. I imagine you have a marketing department in there, I would imagine, or an accounting department, I would imagine, in your business.
We do.
You've got obviously the I don't know what you call them, like the people on the field, customer service reps, let's call it, whatever it may be. Like, you've created 60 careers of 60 people that go home at least full-time, and the part-time on top. So just from, hey, let's play soccer on a field, you've evolved this. So that's something that's really, really impressive. Really impressive. And not a lot of people would think that it has that kind of a potential.
It's like any entrepreneurial story, probably. Like, when I started, I got some investors together and opened one place in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I didn't really even think beyond Kalamazoo. I just knew there was an opportunity there. And I did every job in the place at first, just me, because I was afraid to hire anyone. We wouldn't make it. I wouldn't be able to pay them or what have you. And like I said before, I made a lot of mistakes, but I had great partners, and you learn. But we knew once we got it turned positive, and I learned some things at Kalamazoo. There's a lot of places we could do this other than just a little city like Kalamazoo, which is a great soccer market, a great place to live, by the way. And so then we started expanding, and yeah, you're right. It's an opportunity for someone who can manage a small business and work in that environment. And it's, we look for competitive, hardworking, good work ethic, and people that customer service skills. And it's not an easy job. And so you can learn sort of the technical part, but dealing with the public like that and that kind of environment is challenging at times.
And I want to dive into that, because someone who's completely out of it, it's soccer. How can it? What can be so difficult? So I'd love to actually learn because somebody's going to be looking at this saying, hey, you know what? I love soccer. Maybe I want to start my own facility. There's clearly, they're looking at you saying this is how far they could take it. What are some of the nightmares, the difficulties you're dealing with? Maybe whether it's today or even in the earlier days as you were growing, maybe share some of those challenges.
Well, first of all, I'm old. I started my first facility before we really had computers and software systems available to help manage the day-to-day. So a lot of things have been put in place over the years, and we have our own management system we've developed, our own software. But I would say also, when you look at starting this, very extensive capital investment. We own all the real estate. So we have, I don't know, 900,000 square feet of space, I think. They're big buildings and, obviously worth a lot. Close to $100 million probably. If $100 a foot is probably on the low end of that. So it's very capital intensive. And some of our properties, and I get approached regularly, are ones that people opened up in the wrong location or don't know how to manage it, and they're looking to sell. Because a lot of people do get sort of seduced into sports. It's going to be fun. I'm a basketball person or a soccer person, and they go open a facility. But going back to your real question, it's running a small business, and you have to really manage it tight and manage it well, train your people, motivate, hire the right people, etc. And one of the things I've repeated many times is we can find a good location in a good market, a good piece of real estate. And if we have an average manager, probably not that successful or won't work. The opposite side of that is we can get an average location, an average market, and an average piece of real estate, but a good manager, we probably make that work. And so it really comes down to our site manager, and we ask them to do a lot. I mean, you mentioned marketing. We do have some marketing support for them, but every person in the door, every team that's playing, we want them to make it a great experience for them so that they want to keep playing. Our retention rate is very high. I would say that's one reason we've been so successful, and being one of really the only ones to scale this the way we have is we really focus on our model, soccer leagues. We don't try to be everything else. We don't put a fitness center in there or a pool or anything else. We really focus on soccer leagues and the real estate aspect.
I would really love to, because I get it. That manager is giving your customers the best possible experience. With the right manager there, that facility runs good. And when you have, in your line of work, happy customers, they keep coming back and they tell their friends, and that's how it grows.
That's exactly right.
So.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. So tell me, I like to ask this question. In your organization, for anyone who's who's interested already, maybe even to be part of your team, what kind of people do you look for? Maybe share with me a little bit more on the culture of the company.
Well, obviously everyone's going to tell you kind of the same thing in an interview, but obviously people that share our values, hard work, honesty. One of our core values that we say all the time is do the right thing, even if it hurts. And I can give you lots of examples how a manager might be faced with a situation with a customer who broke a rule and maybe is suspended or that kind of thing. But if you're a good manager, you become friends with a lot of these customers. You have that personal relationship, and the right thing would be stick to the suspension. You can't, even though they plead, hey, I want to play next week, whatever. That's important. But competitive people that want to be successful. And also, I would say this about our organization. We have a lot of people that have been with us for, many, many years. They started out as part-timers and then went to a full-time position in the facility, like an assistant manager, then became a general manager, even some now that are regional managers for us. Yeah. And, I would say that's because they did what I just said. They shared our values and they were very successful at one level. And that's when you get a chance to go to the next level. You prove, really most people get promoted in organizations when they've already proven the initiative, drive, and skill set to be successful at the next level. And that's why they get promoted. So, but people who have done that, that's really says something about their performance.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And what kind of, on the qualification side, is there, I know you've got a vast number of type of employees, different aspect, but if someone wanted to join your business, is there a certain route you'd like to see? Do they need to know soccer at all? Is there a certain background? Maybe feel free to break that up in different departments of the business as well.
It's a great question, because it's a great question. You can tell you're in the field you're in, because, a lot of people think you have to be a soccer expert to run a soccer facility, which is not true. Yes, it's obviously helpful if you have some soccer background or can speak the language in a way or relate to what customers experience, for sure. But it's really, I would say, when you look at other businesses that maybe have some of the same management demands, running a bar, restaurant, or retail establishment, there's a lot of nights and weekends. You're dealing with the customers, the customer service type role. Even as a manager, our managers work the facility a lot. They're not just in the back room, looking at spreadsheets and whatnot, although they do some of that. So yeah, those are probably related careers that fit well to us. Previous management experience is obviously helpful. Okay. No, that's really, really good to know. And I like to always wrap up with asking the following question. If you were to give one piece of career advice to anyone, what would it be? Oh man, I could, go for a long time on that. Just give me one. Give me one. For me. Somebody asked me the other day, I think I can't remember if I told you this in the back and forth, but I'm at a point in my life where I'm able to do some other things. I started a vineyard. I wrote a book that's successful, a novel. To look that up, folks. And what's the name of the book? The book is Hunted. I've got one here. I'll show you the
Please
cover.
feel free to show it up here.
The
Yeah.
book is fronted. It's on Amazon Kindle, and it's done very well. But it's a novel. I started to write a book, Christian, about like my soccer career and into business. I kind of felt like, hey, I'm still doing stuff there. Maybe I should do, and I got the idea for this novel and I wrote it. But the career advice is this. Someone asked me why I started this little vineyard, and I said, my parents had this property when I was a kid. I used to go there and put up barbed wire fence with my granddad and dad, and it wasn't always what I wanted to do. When you're 13, 14 years old, I wanted to climb the mountains and hike and whatever. But I learned how to work hard. And so I would say like career advice always is and it's proven very helpful to me in soccer and also business. If you have a work ethic and you just go to work every day and get after it and try to meet your supervisor or your company, whoever you're reporting to, meet and exceed their expectations, good things are going to happen to you. And you learn a lot when you go, and you always take the initiative and try to do more. So a lot of people say follow your passion. I think that's good too, but really trying to be effective in your role is probably the number one piece of advice I give people.
No, that's fantastic, Mike. I really appreciate you being here. Guys, if you like content that are just like this, learning about other careers just like Mike's, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and all of Mike's information is going to be right below in the description, especially the link to your awesome book, which I really hope people pick up and read. So thank you for being here, Mike. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Good deal. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching our content. Listen, if you're running a business and you're struggling to find staff, I want to introduce myself. My name is 𝗿𝗿𝗲𝗏𝗿𝗀. I own CPG Recruitment, and I help companies across North America find the people that they need to find. Listen, a great business cannot be built unless you've got great people. You and I both understand that having the right people on your team is so important, and that's where I could come in and help you. So listen, I want you to shoot me a text message. Here's my direct cell phone. Have my number. Reach out to me. I'd love to hear your story and get to know what you're trying to accomplish, and that way maybe I can help you fix this problem.